So we want to pause now for clarifying questions from task force members. And I want to just appreciate Sherry as well as George, Noah, and David for their presentations, and that I think provided a nice overview of the complexities of the multiple jurisdictions that are and authorities that are at issue with offshore renewable energy development. So thank you all for coming back with your video back on again. And here would like to ask task force members, if you have questions you'd like to pose to any of the recent presenters, please click on your participants tab and then use the raise hand function to raise your hand, and we'll get you in the queue. And our aspiration is that task force members will leave this agenda item having a better understanding of all of the, again, the regulatory and jurisdictional authorizations that are involved in these types of efforts. So I'm looking for hands and not seeing them. Oh, here we have Robert Fars. If you want to go ahead, take yourself off mute and ask your question, and then when you're done, please lower your hand.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Eric, and thanks to all the presenters. My name's Robert. I'm from the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. I was curious, especially I think given the discussion of the kind of coastal issues, can you kind of speak to some of the jurisdictional issues surrounding siting the transmission lines, which would obviously kind of bridge, physically bridge the kind of various areas of jurisdiction, spanning from the federal waters to the state's, actual coastline, and kind of what the kind of considerations are there. Thank you.
Well, I'll take a shot at it. I'm not with BOEM, obviously, I'm with NOAA, but so right now, there are two authorizations. BOEM issues the COP, the Construction Operations Plan. The Army Corps of Engineers issued the Rivers and Harbors Act Section 10 permit for the cables. Although that's based on the information that BOEM approves in the COP in terms of, where those cables are likely to go and the right of way for those cables and that sort of thing. But they are, at least for the state purposes, for Coastal Zone Management Act, the state does get to review the cables because those go through into state waters. Or I should say that one state certainly gets automatic CZMA review of the cable, of the Army Corps permit, because the cable bisects the coastal zone boundary between state and federal waters.
Do others from the panel want to weigh in on that?
Not on the panel, but I can provide a little bit more color on the BOEM jurisdictional issue there. So once a lease is issued, it does authorize the right to an easement to take that power to shore. As far as BOEM's jurisdiction, that's in federal waters, so not state waters. So in most cases, that's 3 miles offshore, different off Texas, in the west coast of Florida. However, as David Kaiser noted, state regulatory jurisdiction as well as Army Corps jurisdiction would cover potentially state water transmission through those waters. And then I would also note that Josh Ganji of BOEM is going to be giving a more in-depth discussion on transmission later in the agenda.
Thank you, David. Robert, does that help with your question?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks. I look forward to the discussion later today on transmission as well.